Hello guys, welcome back to the next tutorial. In this tutorial we will see how to locate drop-down menu in Selenium. I will use CSS Selector to locate element. So let's get started. Drop-down menu contains list of items which we need to select. These are list of items and we need to select one of these. We have different approaches to select drop-down menu. In some apps you will see drop-down menu contains divs associated to each item, whereas in some apps you will see drop-down menus are designed in such a way where divs are not used and each item has option tag. Let's take an example. Here in Google Form, right click on it and inspect it. Click on this arrow icon and click on drop down. Element gets highlighted under DOM. Here is first div and it has attributes associated to this element. Expand it. Here you will see multiple divs and these div tags contain multiple items. Expand it and you can see multiple divs inside one div. Same. Let's expand this one where we have item list. And expand it again, expand it and see there are multiple divs and one div is associated to one item. This one, as you can see it here. This div tag is associated to first item, this div tag is associated to another item, and so on. Let's see how to locate this text. Let's get into the code. I'm gonna bring up my PyCharm. Here I have already created a class named as locate drop-down menu. Here I have initialized the web browser, that is a Chrome browser, as Chrome browser requires Chrome driver path, so I have saved it in a variable and passed this variable while initializing the browser. Here I have added the Google Form URL. You can use any URL here. And this function contains all the fields selectors. I have told you about this in previous tutorial, that how to select this CSS selector for the text field and for the button. Here I have added the teardown function which will quit the browser at the end, and at the end I have called the class, and inside this class I have called the function which needs to be run and also called the teardown function here. Let's add functionality for drop-down menu. Drop-down menu self.driver.find element by CSS Selector, and let's create CSS Selector. As this drop-down menu has multiple divs, so you can't pick element directly. You need to click on it first to open the menu and then click on the item which you want to select. I'm gonna create CSS Selector to open menu first. Then I will create CSS Selector to select the item. You can take class attribute here. This is the, as you can see, if I hover my mouse over it, then it's like the drop down option menu. Let's take this class attribute and let's search it to see it's unique or not. And see, it's giving me 1 by 1 and its element is being highlighted here. Let's take this one and add it here. Let's click on it, drop down menu dot click. I have added a click here because I need to select the value. I'm not inserting anything in a field. Let's add for the element item equals to self dot driver dot find element by CSS selector, and this let's create CSS selector for the item. Here open this one and you can see here is the list of the items. Let's copy this one, or you can take value, let's try this class attribute value, and it's giving me 1 by 1, and but the list element is not highlighted. So let's pick another value. You can see repeated text here. These values are being repeated, so we should be careful while selecting the right value. One thing here, if I hover my mouse over these items, you can see elements are not being highlighted. So I think these are not the correct values. We need to find the correct value. So let's go down in the hierarchy and you can see this is the drop down menu field element, and it has 2 child nodes, and if I hover my mouse over it, it's highlighting the pop-up, so we can select value from here. Let's take class attribute and check it's unique or not. It's giving me 1 by 1 and the pop-up is being highlighted when I click on it. So now select the item. These are all items, and I need to select the child node, so for this I need to add space here to go down in the hierarchy. Let's take any class attribute value. And you can see it's not unique, it's giving me multiple elements, so we can't use it. Let's find the unique one, and here we can see data value is a unique because it contains the value text which we need to select. So let's add it here, and I'm creating a CSS selector for this data value. Add square brackets and then paste it here, and you can see it's being selected and it's giving me 1 by 1, and element is also getting highlighted. So let's take this one and input it here, and click it. Item dot click. Let's run code. And you can see it's not picking up the value here, and here is the error, unable to locate element, this one. This is because test runs very fast and it executes the item selector line very quickly. This line runs very quickly and it opens the menu, and before opening the menu, Selenium Webdriver runs this line, so it's not getting the menu item. There are two ways to handle this one. One way is to check visibility and then execute next line. We'll explain in another tutorial that how to check visibility. I'll go with second approach for now, that is to use force wait. I'm adding time.sleep here. It opens up the menu and then add time.sleep for 2 seconds, or you can add for 1 second. Import it here, time, and it opens up the menu, wait for 2 seconds and then click the item. Again, this is not recommended. We need to avoid this. Once you have an idea about check element visibility, you can use that and avoid this force wait. We'll add tutorial related to different waits. Stay tuned for that. Let's run code again. And see, it's working. Value has been picked up, but it's giving me an error. Let's check this one. It's giving me another element is taking click, so we need to handle this one. Let's add wait time here. Dot sleep for 1 second. Let's run this code. And see, it's working fine. I will explain how to use wait for visibility. So for now I'm using time.sleep. Let's see the second approach, that is option tag for each item. Here I'm using facebook.com for this one, and there is a drop down menu for days, months and years. I'm gonna use days drop down menu. Let's inspect it. And select this drop down menu. Here you are seeing select tag instead of div tag, and this drop down menu goes with select tag and items go with options. Expand it and here you can see option tag. All the items have option tags. So let's see how to select item by using these option tags. Let's get into the code. I have created another class here named as locate dropdown on FP. I have initialized the web browser and added a Chrome driver path and added the Facebook URL here. We have two-liner code for it. You need to use this wherever you see this approach, option tags for the items. Let's see what it is. Let's import package first. From Selenium .webdriver .support .select import select. Okay, let's add a function here. Define select day and call this function here self.select day. Okay, let's add two-liner code here. Select day equals to select and parenthesis add self.driver find element by CSS Selector. Let's create the CSS Selector for this one. We need to first select this drop down menu and this one. Here we can take this ID, this one, and a hash and value here. It's giving me one by one. It's a unique value, we can use it. So let's add it here, and once menu is selected, then we need to select the item. To select the item, select day dot select. Here you can see multiple values. Select by value, select by index, select by visible text. Select by value means this is the value and you need to add this value which is appearing against value equals to this one. And select by visible text means the text which is appearing inside this tag. Here is the opening tag, here is the closing tag, and here is the text day 1 2 3. One thing to keep in mind is that value and the visible text can be vary, both can't be same here, because this menu is about, this drop down menu is about the days, so value and the text is same, but it's not same for every case. Let's take any value from it. I'm gonna use it by value, so let's take 6 and select by value and add it here 6. That's it. You don't need to copy value equals to this. You just need to copy this value which is appearing inside this double quotes. Adding time.sleep here so that you guys can see value is being picked up or not. Let's say 1 second. Import time and yeah, run the code. See, it's working fine and value was picked up. That's about it. Thanks for running this one, guys, and stay tuned for the next one.